I'm going to get us started. I know we'll see more folks continue to join. I'm seeing those attendee numbers continue to climb up. More folks will continue to join over the next few moments, but we are going to get started. We've got a packed 60 minutes to go through. Our webinar topic today is exploring this redesigned Settle-In website. We are also going to be talking about the Settle-In products in general and covering some of that information. Today, this afternoon, during this webinar, I am here as your pilot, Amy Franz. I am the Program Officer for Cultural Orientation here at CORE. What that means is I help manage our training and learning opportunities, developing webinars and offering trainings for cultural orientation providers like you. I am also joined behind the scenes by my colleagues Jazz and Chiamaka. Jazz and Chiamaka both work on our digital products side, working with our newcomer-facing products. They are going to be helping out with answering questions in the chat, answering questions in the Q&A feature to help keep us on track throughout the next hour. Over this next hour, we're right now in this little piece of welcome as we continue to see folks joining in. We're going to spend about half of our time today looking at those Settle-In products. A good portion of that will be talking about the website redesign and taking us over to that website to see some of those updated features and functionalities. We will also have some time at the end to talk about ways that we as CO providers globally are using those products. How are we using the app? How are we using the website with those newcomers that you are working with? And then we'll spend a little bit of time wrapping up, making sure that we've answered all of the questions that you might have had. Our goals at the end of this hour is that you will feel comfortable navigating that redesigned website. I'm excited. I'm really excited about some of the updated features that I get to share with you today, and I hope that you'll leave feeling excited about the updated features as well. We also hope you have a strong understanding of how our Settle-In resources benefit newcomers, ways that they can benefit individuals that you work with on a regular basis, and hopefully you'll identify a few ways that you could incorporate these resources into cultural orientation sessions, if you are delivering cultural orientation, or into other resettlement services, other touch points when we interact with newcomers, how we could use these resources to support our newcomers to the best way that we can. Always, always in CORE webinars, we are recording this webinar. You can turn on the closed caption if that helps you. In your Zoom toolbar across the bottom of the screen, you should see a CC, or it says closed captions. If you click on that, it will let you access those subtitles. We will share out this recording with everybody who registered. So everybody here today will receive a link to the YouTube recording. As well, we will be sending out this PowerPoint that we are going through today. So don't feel like you need to take a bunch of notes, take screenshots, or anything else, because you will have this information in your email, probably not by the end of the day tomorrow, for sure by Monday. Always with CORE webinars, we really do want you to participate. We want you to ask questions. We're using our Q&A feature today. You should see that across the bottom of your Zoom toolbar, depending on which type of Zoom you're using, whether it's at the bottom or the top. The icon has changed a little bit. It now looks like a speech bubble with a small question mark. We're using that Q&A feature to help keep track of those questions that are being asked, to make sure that we can answer all of those questions. If you forget, you put your question in the chat, don't worry, we're still gonna try to grab those questions out of the chat. We'd love to start our session today just getting a feeling of who is in the room with us today. How much knowledge do we have collectively about the Settle-In products? I'm gonna launch a poll here for us, and it's gonna pop up on your screen. And so I'm asking you, how familiar are you with those digital products? Maybe you have no idea whatsoever. You're down at this is completely new for you. You're kind of in the middle. You know a little bit about Settle In, but maybe you're not using it regularly. Maybe you want to learn more features or use it better. Maybe I see a few of us, we're feeling very confident with Settle In products. We're very familiar. For those who are very familiar with the products today, a lot of this will be review, refresh, reminders, but I still hope that you will find some new information. We had our first session this morning, and one of our cultural orientation leaders from one of the agencies said she even learned one or two new things. So I was feeling pretty excited that she said she even picked up something new. So pick what you can from this webinar. I'm going to stop our poll there and share those results so you can see we're pretty evenly divided today. Quite a few of us are new to Settle In, most of us in that middle range, and some of you are very familiar, but again, I'm hoping that you'll still take some information, some good information away from this webinar. So for those of us who are new or just slightly familiar, what is Settle In? What is this suite of products? So Settle In is a suite of digital products that are multilingual across multiple different platforms. We have the website, which is what we're going to spend a little bit of extra time on because the features have been updated. The website has gone through a redesign. We also have a mobile app that aligns with the website. The information is formatted in a slightly different way, but it contains the same information as the website. And then we have 2 Facebook pages. And these, I'm going to take us over to those Facebook pages in a little while. And I'm really going to encourage you to take a look at them after this webinar. They are one of our least used by CO providers resources, but we would really encourage you to keep an eye on those pages, share them with newcomers so that newcomers can use those pages to gather their own information. So why are we always telling you from CORE that you should use Settle In? Not just because we created Settle In, so we think you should use it, but because we've specifically designed these products for newcomers. They are designed to be visually simple, clear, to consider low literacy and low digital literacy, and to be adaptable across the United States. These resources are also based on the cultural orientation objectives and indicators. For those of you in the audience who provide cultural orientation, that pre-departure, post-arrival education for refugees arriving in the United States, you know those cultural orientation objectives and indicators very, very well. These are the things that newcomers should know within the first 90 days of resettlement. The material on Settle In is designed to align with those cultural orientation objectives and indicators. Finally, the Settle In resources help us to have consistent messaging across all of our agencies, from overseas to domestic, so that folks who are arriving through IRC in Denver, folks who are arriving through CWS in California, they are seeing the same information shared through Settle In. We know that it doesn't 100% fix the problems. All of us have had newcomers tell us about their cousins, uncles, friend who was told that they should get XYZ. And we can't always avoid those misunderstandings. But these Settle In resources help us to have that consistent messaging across all of our agencies and really share that trusted information. Every year, CORE does collect data from our CO leadership about how many individuals have left from the resettlement support centers overseas and how often they have been exposed to, they have used, or they have been shown those Settle In resources. And so we include this as a way to encourage you that our overseas folks, those resettlement support centers, they do heavily use the Settle In resources. So on the domestic side, when we also use the settle-in resources, again, it helps keep that consistent messaging from overseas to domestic. I'm going to start by jumping into the website. We're going to look at a quick short video. You are going to hear the lovely voice of my colleague Chiamaka sharing this promotional video of Settle In. And then my folks attending and my core colleagues here, if you can just use that thumbs up reaction to show me that you are hearing the video, because I want to make sure that I have used my sound correctly. So give me some thumbs up reacts if you can hear the video, please.
The Settle In website has a new look and even better features. We've made it easier than ever to find the information and resources you need to settle in the United States. You can quickly access reliable, up-to-date information on all topics important to your resettlement journey, all in your preferred language. Explore the new Settle In website now. Share this post with anyone who might find our resources helpful. Message us on Facebook with any questions. Our English, Dari, Pashto, and Spanish-speaking staff are here to help. We would also love to hear your thoughts on the new website.
Now, you heard Chiamaka in that video say, share this post. This video has been shared on our Facebook pages as a way to announce to newcomers that this update has happened. I'm not sure yet if we will be sharing this video on YouTube or in other ways, but we'll let you know in our newsletter if and when we do share these promotional pieces in more spaces. If you are familiar with Settle In the past, and I know from looking at the names that a lot of folks in this room have seen this website before, you will see that the redesigned homepage looks a lot softer. It's a lot more gentle. You will also see this updated search feature is highlighted, and right here at the top, you will see the same tabs across the top, which is very helpful for yourself. But the pieces inside of those tabs, the functionality has been improved. I'm going to walk us through those tabs briefly, and then we'll go over to the website and we will explore as well. The first two tabs that we see across the navigation bar is Life in the US and the US resettlement process. Under each of these tabs, you will see a variety of individual topics, each topic with text, videos, and downloadable fact sheets. Each of these have been translated into the 10 languages that are available. Sue, I see your comment there in the chat. We have not yet added French, although we know that is like the #1 thing on a lot of folks' mind is getting that French added in. Make sure that you are subscribed to our newsletter so that when we do add a new language, you'll receive that information as soon as possible. The second major tab we have here is the US resettlement process. This tab walks through the 6 steps that refugees will go through as they're resettling in the United States. Next, we have this resources button, and this is where you, as the CO provider, might spend a lot of your time on this website. I'm so excited. In just a moment, I'll take us to the website and show you how this page has been reformatted. You're going to be very excited about what it looks like now. We also then have the language tabs where we can change into those 10 different languages. Those 10 languages are the same available on the app. Additionally, you'll see this tab of Help Center. The Help Center has articles that go beyond initial resettlement. I'll walk us through the Help Center website in just a moment. These articles are not in all 10 of the same languages. They were created under expanded expanded funding for specific newcomer groups. So there are some limitations to the languages for those Help Center articles. With this redesign, we're going to be moving all of those articles underneath of this Life in the US tab slowly over time, so that everything that's in the Help Center will eventually be integrated in the main tabs. Finally, this contact piece in the corner gives direct links to those Facebook pages. So if you're trying to get your newcomer clients quickly and easily over to those Facebook pages, with the contact information, how they can message the digital liaisons who speak Dari, Pashto, Spanish, Ukrainian, Russian, and English, we've got those contact pages, the contact page available there. So let me pull my website over, and Chiamaka, Jazz, can you give me some thumbs up reactions that you're seeing my my website page here now? Fabulous. I see some folks giving thumbs up. I appreciate that. Always concerned that I have not shared my screen correctly, that I'm talking to myself and you're not seeing what we're supposed to be seeing. So when we come to our main Settle In webpage, again, we see that search bar highlighted. We see some easily noticeable pieces where newcomers can click. I would really like to learn more about life in the United States. It's going to take them over to our main landing page. I want to learn more about the refugee resettlement process. We'll head over to that resettlement process landing page. These are the same landing pages that we would find if we clicked on the Life in the US tab or the US resettlement process tab. When we scroll down, we also see that there are some videos of resettled individuals that have been added to the website. These are nice to direct clients to, where they can listen to individuals who were resettled, their reactions, what they went through, how they experienced life in the United States in their own words. I'm going to, under Life in the US, navigate over to our health page to show you what it looks like on this reformatted site. In the past, we would go to a main health page and there would be tiny little tabs across the middle that had all of our different topics. Now the topics have been reorganized to be easily accessible and noticeable in this main segment under health. So you can see all of the articles that are available. If I open one of those articles, I've still got my option to download the resource. That's going to give me the PDF version. I've got the video option available, which links directly to YouTube. And then I've also got the text on the page. The PDF, the downloadable resource, is the exact same text as the web page. So it's a helpful way to print out these web pages to share them with clients. Again, this page is designed for newcomers, but you as the provider might be coming to this resources tab across the top. Let me go over to that resources tab. This is where you can very easily access all of the resource topics in all of the different languages. For example, I'm going to go back briefly to this page. It is possible for me to come up to my language tab. I can change over to Arabic. I can click to download, and I can download the Arabic PDF. But this is quite tedious if I have to change again to my Spanish and download again the PDF for Spanish. Let me change myself back to English. When I go to the resources page, I can choose what languages I want. For example, I want Spanish, Russian, and English. Right now, it's going to give me all of the articles, Russian, Spanish, English format. But maybe I just want the health articles. So I'm coming down to my topics here and I'm clicking on health. Now I'm getting mental health in the US. This is the English version, the Spanish version, but you see the text in English here, so you know which topic it is. and then the Russian version next. Now it's super easy and fast for me to download the English version, download the Spanish version, and download that Russian version. Tanner, I agree. This is the thing that I am so excited about. This is my most excited piece, is how much easier the resources are to access for us as providers. I'm so glad that you have noticed that as well. The same thing with the videos. If I want to share the videos in a few different languages, maybe I'm projecting my screen and I want to share the English video, and then afterwards I want to share the Russian video, I can pull them both up here in the same location. Now, because I chose health, it also has all of the other health articles. For example, managing and coping with stress, the English version. I'm going to click next here, and then it's going to give me the Spanish version, and again, the Russian version. I can change my languages again here on the left, or I could change my topics here on the left to sort through those resources. Because there are so many resources available, this helps us out a lot as the service provider. I want to jump us over into the Help Center to show you what that looks like. If we the articles that are on the main Settle In page historically have focused on the information that newcomers need to know within the early resettlement period. So, for example, the topics that are available under health here, these are targeted at newcomers within that initial resettlement period, items that address those cultural orientation objectives and indicators. When we come over to the Help Center, these are primarily articles that go beyond the initial resettlement period. So, for example, if I scroll down here and I open the health column, you're going to see a lot of articles that go far beyond what we would teach during initial cultural orientation. The benefit of this Help Center is that when clients ask you a question, such as asking about a women's health exam, and you as the provider, as that initial service provider, you don't have time to talk through all of those answers about all of the topics that clients are asking about. You're able to check on that Help Center. Maybe there's an article available for that topic that you could share with that individual. I think a lot of this, I think about this Help Center a lot for things like inside of transportation. Clients might ask you, how do I get a car? And you at the resettlement agency, you are thinking, okay, we need to know how to use a bus to get to your health appointment. We need to know how to get to your job. I don't have time to teach you how to buy a car. But we do have some articles in here that talk about what does it mean to own a car in the United States? How do you travel between the states without a car? What is that ability? How do you get that driver's license in your state or in a different state as you're moving? So really think about this as extra information that can support you in answering questions for your clients. Eventually, those Help Center articles, they will be moved and they will be inside of this Life in the US segment of the website. This is a slow process to move those articles over. As we go through the process, I'm sure we'll be sending things out in the newsletter to let folks know when those articles have been fully migrated. I'm going to head back over to my PowerPoint, but Chiamaka, Jazz, I'd love if there's anything in the chat that we should answer directly, or if you've seen something in the QA that I should talk about. I'm not seeing anything. Lubav, great question in the chat. I echo Jazz that we don't have an answer for you right now, but we will get that answer for you after the webinar. I'm gonna take a peek.
Fabulous. I think we're good on questions, Amy. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm going to take us over to thinking about that Settle-In app. And again, the app mirrors the website. It's not the identical language, but it's the same information. When you open up the app the very first time, you will be prompted to choose a language. I've already chosen English in this screenshot. You're also asked to choose whether you are inside or outside of the United States. And I'm going to come to that in just a moment. After I open the app, I'm given a list of topics that I can scroll through. Each of these topics breaks out into subtopics. And each of these subtopics might have a video or images. They will have text, and many of them will have short quizzes or questions that newcomers could answer. The benefit of this app is those clients and newcomers being able to have this information available on their device. They can take it with them home after you've worked with that client. Maybe you've worked on a CO session talking about employment. You ask them to go home and use that app lesson to review. Again, the app is available in those same 10 languages as the website. When we want to change the language, we're going down into the settings, this gear icon on the app. And I have the option here to change the language into those 10 different languages. The other piece that you see here in the settings is this question about whether you are inside the United States or outside the United States. The reason for this is because these main topics will change fairly slightly whether you answer inside or outside of the United States. For example, when folks are still overseas, before they have left the camp or the country that they are in, if they say, I am outside the United States, they will see information in here about traveling to the United States. That includes how to board an airplane, what to pack in that IOM bag, etiquette for being on an airplane, all of those things that folks need to know before they take an airplane. If you flag that you are already inside of the United States, that information is no longer necessary to learn when you've already arrived in the United States. This is why the topics will change just very slightly if there is different information that's more helpful overseas compared to domestically. Again, in the app, we've got an iOS version, we've got an Android version, and we've got a web version, a desktop version. I'm going to pop up the desktop version here for us to look at once I close out of my massive amount of tabs here. Okay. Again, as we come into the app, I'm going to be scrolling through these topics. You will see that these topics do match the topics on the website, but again, are maybe slightly different from those overseas to domestic. If I open a topic like transportation, I see these subtopics underneath. I could open any of these topics. I'm able to freely jump between topics. So for example, if you as the provider only want to focus on the concept of driving a car, you don't have to go through the lessons above to open that up. When I do open a lesson, I will either see images with text, or I will see a video. Oops, I just took myself out the wrong way. Or I will see a video. For example, under driving a car, I will see a video here that I can watch and listen to. Tanner. Oh, Victoria, I see that question. This is something that we are thinking about getting added onto the website. Let me drop this link quick in the chat. This is the desktop version of the app. This is especially helpful for you as the provider if you want to project on a screen to a group of clients, or to practice navigating the app alongside a group of clients. Perhaps the clients have the app on a device they are using, and you are modeling how to use the app on your projected screen. After I click through, for example, if I click through all of the information, I will arrive at quiz questions that will allow me to check my information. So this is a way that you, again, as the individual working with newcomers, you can check that the client has understood. The client can check for him or herself that they have also understood the information. I'm going to come all the way back to our main screen here. Under the settings is where I'm going to be able to change that language. I'm going to change myself here over to Arabic, and then I have to navigate by images. Once I've changed my language, really, I myself have to navigate just using those images to help me out. So I recognize from using the app before that this is my image for the main page. This is my image for the settings. I know that this is my image for money management. Even though I'm not reading them myself, I'm able to navigate through here using the images. If I go into the articles that have the same topics, just translated into our target languages. Let me change myself back to English. Again, I just know that this image is my language image. That's the only way I'm able to jump around in the app in different languages. Yeah, Jazim, I see that comment in the chat. You know, the difficulty is that our settle-in resources are meant to be applicable across the entire United States. So the images that we might see in housing perhaps are not similar to the images of housing in your local region. The pictures that we might see inside of those housing videos are maybe different than what you have available. Housing looks so different across the United States. These resources are definitely meant to be applicable nationwide. And then additional information added or additional localized information added by the agency. Part of this is because when folks are still overseas, before they have left the resettlement support centers, they often don't know where they're going to be resettled. So this information is very broad to apply across the entire United States. Let me come back over to my PowerPoint. And again, I think I've covered all of the pieces. I'm checking in my notes here that I've covered everything I wanted to talk about on the app. I don't see anything, Jazz or Chiamaka, in the questions. I think we're going to be okay with the questions. Yeah, Lubav, this is a struggle across the entire United States, is setting those expectations for housing because of the housing crisis. Man, if I had a magic answer to give you, I promise I would. I would be like the most popular person in the United States if I could help with that, fix that expectation issue. I know we're seeing that across all of our agencies globally. The last piece that I want to touch on are the Facebook pages that we have available. The Facebook pages are some of our least used resources, especially by providers, but they are very, very valuable for you as a service provider to know about and to share with your clients so that newcomers can use these resources on their own, separate from you. We do have two distinct Facebook pages, and these pages are meant for newcomers, right? They're not intended for you and I. They are sharing information about life in the United States during the early resettlement period and beyond. Currently, we have two separate pages. Our Settling US page previously was targeted towards our Afghan SIV holders. This page has been expanded to include Spanish individuals, as well as including all information in English. So any client, along with an interpreter, along with their friend who speaks English, any client would be able to use those resources and access that information. We also have our second page, which is specifically formatted for our Ukrainian humanitarian parolees. And at that page, the core staff is speaking Ukrainian, Russian, and English. On both of these pages, we have core staff who their job title is Digital Community Liaison. These are core staff who answer the questions that newcomers post on the page. For example, when they share a video in March about getting their taxes filed, we have a really popular set of videos that are reshared each year before tax season. Maybe a client posts there in Pashto asking a question about filing taxes. That question gets directed to our Pashto speaking staff. They find resources available to direct that individual to, and then share that information back to the client through that Facebook post. We also have regular live events. These are extended topic information, extended information on certain topics that clients can access that goes beyond, again, beyond that initial resettlement information. These events are recorded in English, Dari, Pashto, Ukrainian, Russian, and Spanish. And then they are also stored on our YouTube channel on the Settle In YouTube page so that providers and newcomers can access them again in the future. YouTube does have all of those Facebook videos available. Another great thing about our YouTube channel is that there are some additional languages where we don't have the whole suite of information available in that language. I'm going to pull a YouTube channel over and show you what I mean by that. Could I get some thumbs up reactions that you are seeing my Settle In YouTube channel page? Fabulous. Again, always I need to double check that I've shared my screen correctly and I'm not talking about something that you are not seeing. On our Settle In YouTube channel, we do have all of the same videos as the website. We also have all of the videos from Facebook. For example, I'm going to click here into this playlist. And there is a specific playlist for all of the different live events. I'm going to open up here the Spanish playlist so that you can see all of these videos are extended information available in Spanish that can be accessed through Facebook, or if your client doesn't have Facebook, doesn't use Facebook, they are stored as well on the YouTube channel. I see your comment, Heather, here in the chat about French. This is always our number one or number two question that's being asked. And I saw a note in the Q&A about Tigrinya and Amharic. So we do have a limited amount of videos in other languages. When we don't have all of the videos in that language, we don't put them on the full website. On YouTube, there are some additional videos in those languages where we have had additional money or additional funding to do translations. For example, if I come here and I search for Tigrinya, I'm going to find, I think it's about 4 or 5 videos that are available in Tigrinya. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 videos, and then there's a Tigrinya playlist. So these videos are ones that there was extra funding someplace. Usually it was our extra health-related funding. For example, our COVID-19 videos are available in a lot of extra languages. Our vaccination videos are available in a lot of extra languages. These Tigrinya videos, they do not live on this main website because we don't have every page available in Tigrinya. As I come back up here, I know French, Heather, is one of our big questions. We only have, I think, two videos in French, but these do exist. These are, again, ones that were produced with extra extra dollars from specific funding resources. We have, thanks to our colleagues in Asia, we've actually started adding a few additional videos in Urdu. I think we're up to 3 videos in Urdu. We've added a few in Karen. I think it's four videos in Karen. And then we've added a few videos also in Rohingya. We're up to 9 videos in Rohingya. These have been produced with the support of our fabulous colleagues overseas in the RSC Asia. As those new videos are produced, we are sharing that information in the newsletter. So always, always, always keep an eye on that Core Connection newsletter. I'll share the link in just a moment for signing up to that newsletter to watch for those newly released resources, those newly released pieces. Oh, Grace, that's a fabulous question. I do not have an answer for you, and I don't even know if an answer exists for that. But it is definitely something I can take back to our director, our deputy directors, and kind of present that to them as a question. I'm going to jump us back over to my PowerPoint. And I just want to make sure, Chiamaka, Jazz, we're not seeing anything else in the Q&A that we should come back to.
There's one question from Irene around what to do if you find a technical issue with the app or the website. So just to reiterate to the team and everyone here, you can email the CO Resource Exchange at rescue.org website if you ever encounter any issues with core, settle, and digital properties. So I'll drop that email into the chat for everyone as well.
I just, while you were saying that, copied and pasted it, Jazz.
Awesome, thank you.
I appreciate that so much. And we do, when folks email those errors, I forward them or another colleague forwards them directly to Jazz, to another colleague on our team, and they forward those on to either our web developer, our app developer, and we try to get those things fixed as soon as possible. We really appreciate that when folks will send us something and say, you know, this is the Arabic version on the app, you know, this is glitched. It helps us so much to be able to go in then and fix those errors. Tanner, we don't on those Help Center articles. Let me pull that back over. The Help Center articles are more limited in the scope of the languages that are available. So when I open up that Help Center, we have available here English, Dari, Pashto, Ukrainian, Russian, and Spanish. The reason for that is because this Help Center was developed using additional funding under the Afghan evacuation. And then with the Ukrainian humanitarian crisis, those extra funding dollars were dedicated to developing this content. For that reason, we don't have these articles in all languages, but we do have all of these articles available in English. If you have access to an interpreter or somebody that can help to translate or interpret those articles for your clients. All right.
I think, Denise also had a really good question. What is the advantage of using the Facebook pages versus the website and app or the live events only?
Love it, love it. So it's all different ways to interact. The benefit of Facebook, I just closed out my screen, y'all, because I was not even like brain thinking here. The benefit of Facebook is that you can give these pages to the newcomer, to that immigrant, that migrant who you're working with, and then they can access the Facebook page on their own. They are able to send questions, ask for assistance. Our staff then receives those questions, attempts to find additional trusted resources. For example, if somebody is asking, they need information about getting car insurance in Chicago, Illinois. Our staff is definitely not the expert on car insurance in Chicago, Illinois, But they have a repository of websites they will go to that contain information about car insurance or different regions of the United States. They'll pull together some trusted data or trusted information from accessible websites and share that then with the client. Clients will ask questions about what happens or how do I move to another state. Our staff then is thinking through that answer. How would I address this question? They're responding in a sensitive way, in a culturally relevant way, and helping to provide as much information, or if they're not able to provide that information, helping to provide some type of referral or helping that newcomer to find that information someplace else. When we're thinking about the app and the website and the website are less quickly to change. We are adding new information to the app and the website on a slower basis. And the information on the app and the website is more permanent information. The information being shared on Facebook is often small or quick little bits that go beyond what we might be talking about with our clients during initial resettlement. The thing that always comes to my mind is the information about, for example, taxes. When we get into probably March, we'll be sharing those videos again about taxes, how to file your taxes, what does it mean in these different languages, and something that, again, we at the resettlement agency, maybe myself as the community member, I don't have the knowledge or the background to help somebody out with this, but we do have this translated information that has been vetted and that I feel comfortable and safe to share with my clients. Let me jump back over to, again, maybe I'm getting myself in trouble by closing it out. I would love to know from all of the folks here, before we kind of start to wrap up, how are you using Settle In with newcomers? What are the things you have done in the past? Or if Settle In is completely new to you, what are you thinking as we are talking about these products? How could you use Settle In with the newcomers that you work with? Feel free to put something in the chat there. Noelle, planning to use it a lot in the future. Noelle, what are you thinking? Which piece of Facebook are you, which piece of Settle In are you thinking you might use the most? How else? What are some ways that you are using Settle In with the newcomers that you interact with? Yasmin is downloading the app for your clients. Absolutely. If your agency provides devices, download that app in advance. It's already on there for the clients to use. Erin is using that website and the app directly in the CO classes. Absolutely. Victoria projecting the videos during lessons, projecting the app during sessions, working through those lessons together as a group during cultural orientation. Shifra is using the YouTube. Noelle is excited to use Facebook and YouTube. Absolutely, using those Settle In videos because they are applicable to your community. Always you can preview in English, preview the English version of the video, make a decision, do I need to add something to this? Especially like Lubav was saying before about housing, maybe there's an extra difficulty with housing in your community, I need to add something more after we watch this video. Blanche is using the videos to emphasize those topics. Oh, Jacqueline, that's a great question. I don't have an answer for you right now, but I'm gonna make sure to flag that, especially with Jazz and other staff that work with the app. It might be possible to link those Facebook pages inside of the app. I'm not sure. Johanna is sending videos to folks to watch. Tanner printing out those fact sheets for households. Absolutely. I see Rana is printing out and using those fact sheets in a folder in their home language. When clients have low literacy, you have the video available that uses the same language. When clients have a high literacy level, they have that fact sheet available that could be printed in their home language. Tanner sometimes having folks read out parts of the fact sheets if they feel comfortable in their home language to be reading. I know, especially when we're thinking about French, Haitian Creole, Tigrinya, Amharic, we don't have all of those videos in all of the languages. We've heard of folks who project the video without the sound. And then they use that video to talk with the clients or with the newcomers alongside the interpreter. Also, that fact sheet in English could be given to the interpreter if you are going to need, for example, a Tigrinya interpreter. You've got the English fact sheet given to the interpreter. You're watching the video in English, but the Tigrinya interpreter has the fact sheet that they can read from and do that translation alongside the video. Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing all of these ideas in the chat. I have a few more pieces that I want to share with you before we get to the very end of our hour together. When we think about this whole process of resettlement, these are just a few of the steps that the newcomers coming through standard resettlement and placement services are going through. Historically, we are thinking about sharing information during that cultural orientation class, or sharing information domestically, again, during that cultural orientation class. But I really want to encourage you, along with this the settle in resources, to think about where else can you share the same information. Because we know that clients might need to hear the same information 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times before it really sticks. We all need that when we learn new information. So maybe the settle-in information is being shared during an interview. Maybe the medical provider is using the settle-in video to share that same information. Maybe during housing orientation, we're sharing the housing video or the housing PDF. When we go to visit with public health, maybe we're watching the video as we're going, as we're driving, or as we're taking the bus to that appointment. When we can repeat that information multiple times, it really starts to become deeply ingrained and better understood by the newcomer, by the learner. All of us, when we are learning that new information, we need that repetition to help us truly, truly process the information. I'm going to be sharing out with you some of these other ideas. I have talked myself into a corner though, and I don't have my extra 5 minutes that I wanted to talk through all of these ideas, but I'm going to be sharing out a slide that includes a lot of the other ideas of how can you incorporate the materials into your sessions. Think about using that settle-in app as an assessment alongside other methods. Think about using settle-in to customize services. Maybe you have clients who are highly literate in their home language, directing them over to that Facebook page so they're able to find that information themselves and take back some of that self-directed learning control. And we're always, always encouraging you to follow those pages, share those pages, share the resources as widely as you can so that they become available so that they are available for our newcomers. One piece that we do have available is what we call our waiting room resources. These are PDFs that you can download, that you can print out. You could hang them up in your office, or you could hang them up in local community offices. For example, if you have an employment, like a job service office in your region, you could hang up the settle-in app posters or share that information out with the staff at that agency so they can also be sharing the app and those resources available. This signage is available so that you can also, again, advertise these resources, helping your newcomers to find them and be more successful using the information on their own. This piece will be coming out to you in the follow-up email, along with the recording of this session, along with the PowerPoint that we have been going through. You will receive this PDF. This PDF is not meant for your clients. It is meant for you and your colleagues, your other stakeholders in your region. It includes an explanation of the website, the app, and the Facebook pages. It includes direct links to the website, links to the app, and links to the Facebook pages so that you can share out this information, again, across your staff, with other agencies that you work with, so that everyone is able to get those resources available. I just want to hop into the Q&A really quick and see. Denise, absolutely. These resources, Denise in the Q&A asked if anyone can use these resources. Does not matter what somebody's status is, if they are a refugee, asylee, if they are maybe the spouse of somebody who is here to work in the United States. These resources are meant for anybody who needs the information about life in the United States. These resources are also considered public domain because we at CORE are funded by federal dollars, by grant dollars. All of our resources are freely available. You can download them to your heart's content, print copies, share them out. All of these pieces are available for you to use with anybody that you are working with. I just want to double check and make sure that there's nothing else I'm seeing in the Q&A and nothing else that I'm seeing in the chat. As we are closing out here, I would love to know from you, what are you excited about as you start to leave this webinar? What are you excited to use after this webinar? Are you more excited about the website and looking at that redesign? Are you excited about the app? Excited about those Facebook pages or YouTube? Maybe you're one of those individuals who felt, I know a lot about Settle In, and now you're thinking, oh, I forgot about that help center. I'm excited to research more and look at what articles are available in that help center and how it can help me as a provider to answer questions that my newcomers are asking. Fabulous, fabulous. Lots and lots of folks coming in, excited about all of the products that are available. Yeah, Natasha, absolutely download that app onto your personal device, play around with it, use it yourself so that you feel comfortable then sharing it with your clients. I'm going to close my poll here. Thank you so much for actively participating with us over this last hour. I'm just going to ask you as we wrap up, if you have a quick 5 minutes and you can answer the questions that we have for you in our post survey, that helps us as service providers to provide better training in the future. If you are able to answer those questions, we would absolutely appreciate your assistance with that. Again, that helps us to go back to our funders who give us our grant dollars and say, this is how our services have impacted our providers. Also, if you are that individual out there who is not yet subscribed to the newsletter, as soon as we have a new language, new resources available, I have nothing I can tell you today, but subscribe to the newsletter and you will see some new resources, hopefully in a new language coming soon. But you did not hear it from me and I am not telling you anything official. So keep that yourself subscribed there so that you can see as soon as those new resources are available. Jazim, thank you so much for coming today. Great to have you. Natasha, absolutely. If you're signed up for that newsletter, we have a lot of training that goes on throughout the whole year, and you can always join into any of the webinars or classes. Susan, Karina, Erin, it's always delightful to see names again that I recognize from prior trainings. I think this afternoon's session is like my virtual practicum class reunion. About half of our folks here in our afternoon session have been in our training before for that virtual practicum. I'm gonna stop my share because y'all, I will just keep talking because I work remotely and I just love to chat with everybody out there in our providers. Rola, you are so welcome. I'm so happy that you were able to join us. I'm going to stay in this room for about another 30 seconds to a minute. If you have questions about the app or the products, please feel free to put those again into the chat or into that question and answer feature. Otherwise, watch for the email to come out, and then you can share this recording with your colleagues. You can share the information out however you would like amongst your stakeholders.